Hello, Jamie back from Inky&Scrappy for episode 15 of Let's Start Stamping series. I'm going to do some second and third generation stamping today. I want to show you how it's done, and so I thought about it and I was like, oh, you know what? I was trying too hard. Anyways, this is kind of the layout I'm thinking today. I will probably bring in my favorite things. Blueprint 24 just for the banner. I might use the die just because it's fast and easy, and that stitching gives just a little bit extra to your card. But you can totally do it without it. You know how to, we've got over in past videos how to make that banner look with just, you know, your scissors and cutting in from the sides. So this is the one I'm going to go with. I was thinking this, but it just wasn't working with what I wanted it to work with. So this is where we're going, and we're going to do the stamping on the background on this one to be that second and third generation stamping with that first one. That's kind of how I use it the most. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You'll understand when I get there. And for that today, I am going to be using Tailored Expressions Millie's Haunted Halloween. This one was one that was like in their grab bag last summer. I think they just got done with their grab bags. So if you're starting in stamping, look for, like, you know, grab bag type stuff if you're not too picky on what you get. And it's usually a really good value for the money, but it's usually, you know, they're one-ofs or like whatever's going out of stock and not coming back. So keep that in mind. I think I want to do either Happy Haunting or Happy Fright Night. Let's go Happy Fright Night. So for this technique, I usually try to look for either a very, you know, larger text or a single word. You could do thank you, congratulations, those types of things, and use that as like your background stamp. I usually start with a larger than I need piece of paper for this, just because I want to be able to cut it down, and I don't know, if it doesn't all turn out, I can kind of pick and choose where I kind of cut from, or especially with the die, you can kind of place and see. But even with your paper cutter, you can kind of get that look. So this one is a red rubber. We're not going to be able to see it through my stamping block here. So if that's, you know, it's a lot easier with a clear stamp than it is with a rubber stamp. And you can use your stamp platform. It's just going to be a little bit, I don't know. It's a lot of moving the paper. I've tried it. It works. I think I figured out how to do it in my stamp positioner without it being a total hot mess. But it's, yeah, I've struggled to try to get it to work. So I'm going to make sure that we're good here. I am using Alon Vaughn's Premium Die Ink Pad Jelly, or Grape Jelly. This was one that came in Watch, like I think it's Cyber Monday. They do like a grab bag. I think they have like a 25, a 50, and 100, but I think that one came in one of my grab bags because I don't usually order inks just because I use my close to my heart ones. So to start this one, we're going to ink it up good. I'm just being extra because it's the first time using this one. So I'm just going to go here with this one. And then I'm going to shift it over and come down and do another line. And then you can shift it over and go down another line. I don't want it to all be in the same line. It's okay that it's not equally spaced. You definitely can do it straight up and down. And especially with a bigger piece of paper in your stamping block. But I like to stagger them a little bit. Now when I come in for my second one, I'm just going to continue, I'm going to keep in mind the rows, right? So I have my row there. Now I have my second generation, so I don't want to do that one there. Let's do that one here. And I can probably sneak one up there. And so, you know, I have my second and third generations there. I just kind of want to vary them back and forth. It's going to give me a different look because I didn't get that one all the way stamped there. Well, I can maybe keep in mind if you're going off of your piece of paper onto, you know, your glass mat, if you have a glass mat, if you're using the scratch piece of paper or a plastic mat, just keep in mind that your ink is not going to transfer off of your stamp as much as you can see like here as much, so it's going to give you a different inking, I guess. I think I can actually come in here and do another row, kind of finish that one up. Go here, and then I need to do a third one here, and I might be able to sneak one in over there. Okay, and so, and then just continuing on with, and you know, once you get to the longer rows, it's kind of a little bit easier. Don't worry if it doesn't all turn out perfect. Remember, we're doing it in a way that we can kind of adjust where what you're gonna, and you're not gonna see the whole thing. Part of it is going to be covered. I don't want to go third and third there, so let's go. Not me being indecisive at all. Totally me being indecisive. Let's all get out. Okay, don't re-ink, dork. I said I don't do this very much anymore. It's just not, I don't know. I need to do a first generation. I don't know where I want to go with my next dark one, so I'm going to go this way. And kind of skip. Because I really wanted to go here, but I didn't know what my spacing was going to be. So, kind of keep that in mind, especially if you're not, and I re-inked again, didn't I? Because I'm smart. This one got a little crooked. Yeah, it'll work. Okay. Go here. There. Nobody's going to see the back. It's all good. So there's kind of the first, second, and third generation stamping for you. It goes fast, and yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. It's, you know, if you're worried that your lines aren't all straight, and there's definitely, you can use guides and do it slowly. I'm just going quickly. So, you know, well, you know, it's not all perfect. What are we going to do with it? You know, there's different things that you can do with it. You can definitely do some splatter on top of it to kind of blend it in. You can also just do some ink blending around the edges. I'll show you on this one, but we're going to end up cutting it out, right? So you can just come in with your blending brush on your dye ink pad and then just add some blending to the outside, and we're going to do that, I think, for the most part on this one, just because I want to darken it up a little bit more. But that's kind of what you can do to kind of, you know, fix it up. Any of those, maybe you had a couple of not so happy spots, right? So I am going to just bring in the dye for this one, just to kind of give me an easier time with this one. So when you're looking at framing it, this is kind of why I say dyes kind of come in handy sometimes. But you don't have to have them. You can definitely kind of figure out where your sizings are. Or good ruler is, you know, gonna help you go, okay, I need 4 inches this way and 5 inches that way, and kind of figuring out where your square is gonna be. I'm gonna just go right up here. I mean, I could go there, would look fine too, but I'll probably go right here and then run that through the die cut machine. Okay, so we ran that through. I need to clean up my surface here because I have purple ink everywhere. So I'm just gonna come in. I think I'll start with the purple because I want to add a little more color to this one, but I might come in with some black too, just to kind of darken it up. We'll see. We'll see how good it looks after the purple. And of course, because this is a dye ink, so dye on top of dye, it's just going to maybe darken up those lighter ones a little bit more than they were, because you're going with the second layer over the top. Kind of the same idea with the clouds and the grass that we've done and the waves that we've done in the past. So you're not really going to, I mean, unless you go super heavy, which if you do go super heavy, you'll probably lose some of that letter, the words, those types of things. Let's see. I think I want to just darken it up. I don't know if I want to really darken it up anymore. Let's go with a little bit of black. So I'm just going to come in with some black soot here. Here's some black soot. Just distress ink for this one. Keep in mind, you can definitely use your distress inks for stamping. It's not always the greatest. We kind of saw that last week, that it's not always the greatest for stamping. So keep that in mind. The other thing with this one is the black is probably going to kind of cover up some of those lighter purple shades. So keep that in mind. So I'm just going to try to kind of stick to the edge on this one. Alrighty, I think we're good. I'm struggling not adding sparkle to it, so I think we're going to add sparkle to it. This again is that iridescent watercolor additive. I just put a little bit in a travel size shaker bottle and added a bunch of water, and then you just shake it up and you get that nice shimmery shine to it. You can do straight on mist or take out the bottom part and just kind of splatter a little bit to get some bigger drops. So we're going to set this one off to the side and let it dry. I'll show you what it looks like when we come back to that one. So I'm going to clean off my work surface again. Normally I do my splattering in, I have a plastic, I don't know, what's it called? Like it's a plastic wash bin from the Dollar Tree, or even a plastic storage container. It cleans up fairly well, but it also kind of has, how shall we say, it's got a little bit more, you don't get everything all speckled. When it comes with clear, I'm not usually too picky on it. I don't usually worry about it being speckly, I guess. So let's see, is this one, I don't think this one's going to be big enough, but we might be able to just do that one and not do the circle. I haven't decided yet. We know how this one goes, right? Let's see. So we did Happy Fright Night. I kind of like the little Boo Dude. That one's cute too. I don't know. Let's go in circle wise to see. That's going to be too big. That's going to be about right. Ah, that little one. Oh, okay. This one is just, it's going to happen because he's cute. It happens. So you can use this, you can do the stamp block again, or you can definitely go this route. I don't know if I'm going to cut this one out circle wise. I might cut it out. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. So I'm going to center it on this one just because. I might not use the die on this one and just go the other route. So I'm going to stamp this with my Lawn Fawn Premium ink pad in jet black. So this is the alcohol marker friendly. It also needs to get re-inked again. I ordered a new re-inker. It is on the way. Much better. I like it when I can just stamp it once and it's done. So if you struggle with it getting nice and crisp, clean lines, a lot of times it just needs to be re-inked. I am out of re-inker. Girl, get your stuff together, right? Alright, let me go grab. I'll be right back. I had to locate my color chart for it. So these are with the Ohuhu Ohuhu Fine Nib 60 pack. So these are the colors that are all in there. So I'm using YR 892, which is the French Vermilion, YR 792, which is orange. For brown, I'm going to bring in the E463, and then for the inside of the ears, I'm bringing in E494. For my little green, I think I'm going to bring a little bit of green on there, so G345 deep olive green. And for my purple, I'm going to bring in V284, which is the pastel violet. There's also V369, which would probably work in that one if you wanted a darker purple. Did I tell you my cool grays? BG038 and BG042. And then the walnut. I told you the walnut one, right? E463. I think so. Yeah. I just told you and I can't remember. Yep. Hello. Welcome to my world. Okay, so I'm going to start with my oranges, which is my pumpkin colors, right? So I'm going to start with my darker one, which is the French Vermilion, that 892. And I'm just going to kind of lay that in along where I think it's going to be a little bit darker. Like in the grooves, I guess, underneath the chin line here. And then around those little arms, kind of under the armpit area. I'm going to bring this side down a little bit more just because he's holding the sign. And then come up a little bit on the bottom as well. I kind of don't do a whole lot in that middle one because I think that one's going to be a little bit more highlighted, at least in my mind. That's a little more highlighted. And then I'm just going to come in with that orange 793 and just kind of fill in the rest. Actually go over the whole image. It's going to help blend out that first color we laid down. And I'm not going to go over it a lot. I'm just going to try to do it in one fell swoop layer to kind of keep my highlight area there. I should really heat set on Bristol Smooth. For some odd reason, ink does not like set very well on Bristol Smooth. So usually I stamp images and let them sit for a while, but you know, we're here, so I didn't let it sit very long. I think I'm going to do green on the little stem just because I think it would be cute. And then I'm going to add a little bit of green to the curly on that one. Let that sit, let it dry a little bit, and then I'm just going to come in with the second layer. I don't know if I'm going to get much of a variation on that one. It's a fairly small little area, so I'm not really worried about it. And then of course I'm bringing in that brown and you won't need to do this many colors, I promise. I'm just going to come in with that brown and do the little stick on his little boo sign. So I wanted to add purple because I was like, well, I need purple because my card's purple, right? So I'm going to add purple on my little boo sign. So I'm going to start with the outside first, kind of going in towards the center. I want to make it get a little bit of a curved look. I hope that makes sense. I want it to have a little bit of dimension. And so by going in with my first layer first on the outside, and then I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to come back and just go over the whole thing with one layer. You can kind of see where my outside has a darker hue to it, and if I wanted to make it darker, I could even come back in after it's dried again and do a second layer over the outside again and get it a little bit drier. I went outside the lines again. Just coming in with that 0 colorless blender to kind of push that purple into the paper more so you don't see it quite as much. So now on to my little mouse. He's pretty little, so he doesn't need a whole lot. I did go with a little bit darker gray. You could definitely keep him white and walk away. But I'm going to do a little bit of gray here just to give him, I mean, for the most part, he's going to stay white. But I want to add just a little bit of shadow or shade to him and give him a little bit of character. So, of course, adding that gray by the sign will push out that purple that I kind of, you know, cover it up. So it's all good. You could also do some purple hues in there. Like do that purple for your shadow line instead of doing the light gray. And then blend it out with the 0 blender. And that would probably turn out really cute too. And then this one is the 038, so it's the cool gray. So I'm just coming in and kind of blending that one out. The little small areas like the arms and the feet, I kind of went the whole way. For the face and the ear, because those areas were just bigger, I didn't want to blend them out as much. Now you can come back in with the colorless blender if you want to add in a little bit more highlight on the feet. I don't think it's really going to give you a whole lot on this one because you really don't have a lot to work with. Now for the eye, I don't do a lot when it comes to the eyes on these. I'm just going to do a little bit of tip to tip here. So, and then because I'm going to cut out that little corner anyways, I just want to bleed this out a lot. So I'm just going to come in here and just add a little bit of, I guess a low light. I don't want it, it's not really a highlight because it's kind of light, right? Ooh, that one got a little bit. I got that one a little bit darker than I needed it. But this way it just kind of adds a little bit, oh, clean up my brush. It adds just a little bit of color to the eye, kind of gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm not sticking on there very good. Okay, and then for the inside of the ear, I'm bringing in that pastel peach. I just want to give him a little bit of some color there. So I'm just going to go in and do the whole thing there. And then with this one, I'm just going to kind of hit his cheeks. I really don't want a pink. You could definitely go in with a little bit more of a pinky color there. And then I'm just going to go in, I just went in with the second line closer to his body so it has a little bit more darker contrast. So there we go. He's pretty simple and easy to color, so no harm, no foul, right? So let's zoom back out here. Now, do I want to do, I kind of want to put him on black, so if I cut him out and do just a plain old black behind him on the banner. So I'm just going to bring in that one here. You could definitely just cut him out and add him right onto there. You could make a little mini scene. That would be really cute too. You got lots of options. So I'm going to do this. And I'll probably come back in and add, he needs something to stand on. Once I know where I'm cutting him, right? So I'm just going to come back in with my darker, I could do the brown even. Do I want to do the brown or the gray? Brown, gray. I'm so indecisive. Okay. I just want to go, I want to kind of give him something to stand on here, right? Keep in mind, most of this is going to get cut off. There, now he kind of has a grounding. That's kind of, sometimes that's all they're really missing is just something. And you can definitely fill that in. I'll do that after I'm done cutting him out. Cut him out a little higher, he might be far enough. So let me go grab a piece of black. Do I want to do black? I think I want to do black. Black, and then if I do maybe a purple along the outside to pull in some more purple. We'll see. All right. Okay, change of plans. You know, sometimes we just have to bring in some pattern paper. So I'm bringing in the Hocus Pocus by Steve Duncan and Carta papers. I want to use this as my background piece. I think it'll be really, it brings in the orange from the pumpkin. It just kind of goes, right? So I'm going to cut this at 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then, because most of this is going to get hidden, right? So you see how much is going to get hidden. And this is where I like to bring in die cuts. It kind of saves on my paper. So I'm going to sneak in my banner piece right here. So I'm going to save well, you know, I get to use both sides of the paper. I don't feel like I'm wasting all that gorgeousness on that side and this side by covering it up by using that die cut. So it's kind of a fun way to get a little more mileage out of your pattern paper. I do this a lot with pattern paper that I love, or glitter paper, any of your more expensive cardstocks paper that, you know, you're just going to use it anyways. Now, if you're using your other, let me grab, I'm just going to grab this one quick because it's close. But you can do it with this as well. So keep in mind that you want to leave a little bit more room probably than what you're going to actually use, right? So I'm running out of room here. So just make sure, you know, if you have the cutter here, you can definitely see that, oh, I can go in here and I can just whoop, here to there, and you can cut out, you know, a rectangle out of any of your base pieces like this. It takes a little bit more time to do, but you know, ultimately nobody's gonna know but you and I, and it's, if your cards get thick like some of mine do, it also helps cut down on postage sometimes. So usually I pay a little bit more attention to, so this one's got an arrow on it so you can see exactly where you're cutting, so paying attention to where you're cutting here, there, and the other way. And then you don't have to go in like this because I'm, you know, I was just showing you. So I wasn't overly concerned. I kind of got a little close on this side, but that's all right. So the other thing is, so now you could take this piece, cut it down to the size that you actually need for this one. So let's see, this one is, I'm at 2 and none of these were like, they're sized funny. Okay, so this one is at 2 and my 2 and 5/8. Yeah, okay. By, this was always been an 1/8. It's kind of weird. By about 3.5. So 3.5 long, 5.5, and then just coming up, you know, you fold it. It's all gonna fall down. So you would fold this piece. If I want to flag it, I'm just going to fold it kind of here. Measure your point, you know, so if you measure your point here, say, okay, that's my point. Make your little slit straight up to your point, and then taking a longer scissor is going to work better for this one. And then just kind of making your line with your scissor blade will help you. And then here to here. And then you get that banner flag if that's what you were looking for and you're not using a die. So, all right, let me grab card base. All right, so fold it. So I'm going to start by adding this one first. So I'm just going to come in with my craft glue here. So I am using glitter art glue. Barely art glue works. Keep in mind you don't need a lot of glue. You don't need it to be super thick. So if you're having issues with your paper getting crinkly, sometimes it's the paper. If it's really light cardstock, I would suggest using a tape runner over glue, just because the really light stuff, it's just going to buckle. It doesn't have enough strength there to kind of, I don't know, hold it straight or flat. You can definitely glue it and put it under something really heavy until it is dry, and that might help with the wrinkle. If you're using super light cardstock, keep that in mind. Okay, so I did it the wrong way. Oh, I'm a dork. All right, I guess we're going this way and we're going to flip the other one, so it is what it is. Not me, not paying attention. Well, I mean, I was, but I wasn't thinking, so there's that. Well, this is gonna look different than I had planned. Alrighty, it's fine. Sometimes we just gotta work with what we got. Okay. Or in this case, and my mistakes. So you see that little shimmer and shine on that background there? I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. I can see it. I don't know if you can see the glimmer in the camera. So this one, I'll end up going this way with it just because I messed up. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm okay with it. I really wanted it to go that way, but it's fine. Put your glue on your right side, woman. Otherwise, you're going to end up with, which would have been fine, but yeah, you're going to end up with the other pattern up front. Sometimes we got to roll with the punches. It's usually me punching myself out as I put on my sweatshirt. Don't worry, I probably deserved it. Okay, so this one I'm pretty content with. I'm just going to fill in that little bit here. I'm actually going to go another layer just to make it a little bit darker than my mouse. I think we're just going to lay him flat. You could definitely pop this one up with a couple of foam squares if you wanted to. Just going to put him on here. And he's just kind of cute, isn't he? Or her. I think it's Millie, right? So it's probably a girl. Whatever. Do I have purple? I have regular purples. Stickles. You know I like to dig out all of the things, right? Okay. I'm glad we've been here enough time to know that I don't tend to sit still with all of my things. This is the Hocus Pocus one from Trinity Stamps, I think. I think that one's got some purples in there that would work. Okay, so I would go with like their clear iridescent one. I don't know if it's called Cave Crystal. That's one of my favorite ones. I use it for a lot. I use it a lot. Just because it's clear and it has like it just adds a little shimmer and shine. It's kind of a fun one. But otherwise look for mixes that are multicolored ones. They have a pastel one. I've recently just increased my stash, but you don't need them. Michael's has a good selection of, add-ons, but you can definitely just use the stickles for this instead. I just want to add a little bit of bling, so not a lot. Usually I add it in threes. I'm weird. It's fine. I don't know. That's just kind of how I've always done it. So for this one, I'm going to do some on and some off. That one's kind of a big one. Let's go with some smaller. And we could do some stars. That'd have been really cute if I'd have put it on the right way. Don't mind me. I'm just, salty at myself for not paying attention. Where did I go? There we go. Purple. I'm only going to go with the darker purple, I think, down here. So I just added a little bit. You could definitely add maybe 2 more over here, or you could even add some onto your background. I try to go with the theory of less is more and odd numbers. So I think I'm just going to go maybe here. I don't want to do the same height. So here and here with this one. So let's just add another. So if I go a big orange there and a little purple, a little purple down there. That's too little. Let's go middle of the road. I like the ones that have multiple sizes, so big and little and small, kind of like a 3-size blend. This one has little stars in it, which would have been really cute if I'd have made this one the black stars. I could have added, there's like 2 different kinds of stars, 2 or 3 different kinds of stars in there. So there's like this one that's like a glittery one, and then just an iridescent one. But those ones you could kind of add. Those would have been cute with the other. But that just adds just a little bit of something, not much, but a little bit. And you could definitely add another sentiment on the side if you wanted to. Let's see. Which way to the candy? That looks like a good idea. So I think we're just going to do right on there. you wouldn't have to do the extra sentiment on this one because you do have that kind of sentiment in your background. I lost all of the things. I didn't. They just ended up underneath stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to go this way. And actually, I could really just put that on the inside, couldn't I? We'll go which way? We'll do it on the inside. I like the card front. Kind of simple. Plain and simple here. Let's see. And because this one's red rubber again, let me get it back up here. This one's red rubber again, so we can't see where it's at, right? So using your stamping platform kind of helps. But you can see that you can see the guidelines here and kind of where the witch and the candy kind of go. So I'm just going to kind of line up the bottom of the witch way to the bottom of my line here. Hope for the best. So I think we're good there. I'm going to come in with that VersaFine Onyx Black. You could definitely use the Grape Jelly one for this one. But I'm going to go with that big, bold, black VersaFine Onyx Black for my sentiment on the inside. And then I think we're going to bring in another one of those little mice. They're just adorable. I'm just going to kind of pop him or her. I think it's a her, right? We discussed this. The little mouse critter. I'm just going to pop that one there. And this time I'm going to bring in that Grape Jelly ink from Fawn. And we're just going to, I want to do, how dark is this going to be? It's really not that dark, so I think we'll be fine with first generation on this one. You could definitely stamp it on a scrap piece of paper and then stamp it to get your second generation, so it would be a little bit lighter, but I think that one's a light enough color that it's not gonna be a big deal. Okay, so there we have our which way to the candy on the inside and our little boo critter on the outside. You could definitely add a sentiment here if you really wanted to. You could even do the Happy Fright Night on a little banner and add that off to the side. I think that's about it. You do Trick or Treat, any of those ones that kind of are on there. But this one, I know this one's out of, you know, it's not in print anymore. But that's kind of the point. I want you to take the idea and run with it and make something of your own. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one and understand second and third generation stamping a little bit better and how you can get a little bit more mileage out of one ink color as opposed to having to stamp it with multiple, you know, having 3 greens, like dark, medium, and light. And this way you can kind of start with the dark. And then, so when I buy inks and when I started to buy inks, I started with the darker colors because I knew I could make them lighter. By ink blending with them or double stamping to get that lighter shade. So I hope that makes sense and gives you a little bit more guidance on that one. I like how this one turned out, even if I mixed up my papers on the front and the back. But there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Take care and we'll see you next time. Bye.